Unfortunately, its true purpose is something much more sinister. Entertainers and celebrities are the court jesters of the modern day, dancing by virtually every metric imaginable. This planet is in very good health. There is a large amount of debate over line item vetoes. According to the Supreme Court in Clinton against the City of New York in 1998, the president has no such legal authority. However, there is some debate if it is an emergency or if it is an appropriations bill. I am not even going to pretend to understand all the legalities of this, and so I cannot comment on it one way or another. However, if you only voted for relief for Americans, if you spend millions on your pet project, then you do not care about said relief. I really think that SCOTUS dropped the ball on that one. If the gender studies program in Pakistan is so important, they should have no problem overriding the veto.
How's the Newspeak committee?
Working overtime. Plus, big problem is timing the language to scientific advance. It's a beautiful thing, the destruction of words. You won't have seen the dictionary, 10th edition yet, Smith? It's that thick. The 11th edition will be that thick.
Well, the revolution will be complete when the language is perfect.
The secret is to move from translation to direct thought to automatic response. No need for self-discipline. Language coming from here, not from here.
Excuse me for intruding, but what you're saying is that we should be rid of the last vestiges of Goldsteinism when the language has been cleaned. I couldn't be more in agreement with you, brother.
Absolutely.
This is the end result of all laws for hate speech. The 117th session of the United States House of Representatives is removing gendered language, such as parent for mother and father, or child for son or daughter. I know it does not make much sense, but there are some people that actually think that biology does not determine reality. They are even updating the ending of the prayer that opens the session with Amen and Awoman. This also does not make sense, but these are the people who want to eliminate the last vestiges of Judeo-Christianity. Imagine what will happen 20 years down the line if a word does not exist or completely changes meaning. Gay used to mean happy, but now it has been co-opted by the LGBT community. Governor Mark DeWine of Ohio has signed a very important piece of legislation. The law requires fetal tissue to be either buried or cremated after an abortion. The choice is left either to the woman or the abortionist, with penalties if a decision is not made. While this does very little in the short term to end the abhorrent practice of abortion, it is a start. It is a psychological battle to win hearts and minds by humanizing these innocent victims. This will make it even easier to pass laws protecting these children in the coming years. I suspect that there will be many abortionists trying to get around this law. A lot of things happened at the Capitol on Wednesday. Overlooked was the turncoat Republicans that refused to stand by principle and let our election be stolen by Biden without objection. This was all right after Antifa stormed the Capitol. All the while, President Trump called for peace and told the people to go home. Combine this with the fact that even MSNBC pointed out that the police let these people in.
But then Trump supporters come in and you open the doors for them. You open the doors for them and let them breach the people's house. What is wrong with you?
And I have no doubt that this was both co-opted and staged to make conservatives look bad. In response to the president actually calling for peace, he was locked out of his social media accounts. It is all left in the hands of the Supreme Court. I certainly hope so. There is more than enough evidence and precedence for the Supreme Court to act. They were willing to take a case when one state was contested. Now, several are contested. Now we know the real reason that Democrats had to attack Kavanaugh and Barrett so much. This is how the fake news covered people storming the Capitol for Kavanaugh.
We've seen protesters on Capitol Hill. You've been reporting all week about how high the tensions are. Where do things stand this hour?
Well, Nicole, the protest that's happening behind me now, and may make me slightly hard to hear, is by far the largest and most well-organized protest against Brett Kavanaugh that I've seen yet this week. And it's really coming at the right time from the protesters' perspective. After this announcement from Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota that she would vote no on Kavanaugh's confirmation, gave really a boost of energy to the opposition here. The protesters are a few floors down from me. They gave a huge cheer and round of applause just in the direction of Heitkamp's office. A lot of these folks have been coming up here to thank her staff for her vote. Just in terms of the optics of all this, if you will, this is all definitely audible to Joe Manchin's staff and Lisa Murkowski's staff, who are also in this building.
Even though going to the Capitol was peaceful and would have remained so if Antifa had not co-opted the movement. If you want any proof as to why there are grounds for the Supreme Court to act, we have video evidence of a homeless shelter being the official residence of countless people. As a result, every single one of these people is listing the exact same address. This is illegal because voting in Georgia requires a permanent address. The director of the shelter even knows that all of this is illegal. What is to stop him from making up a couple dozen names just to swing the vote? Also, since we know that Dominion votes can be changed in Georgia, how do we know that these illegal votes were not multiplied as well? Maybe I'm just blowing smoke. Maybe I'm completely off my rocker, but that is just my opinion.